So friendly reminder that everything I'm showing you, I'm literally showing you from Schoology, so you have access to all of this stuff. I have the actual turn-in in this folder, but the identity collage, and I also have, I don't know if you've noticed, if you've even looked, but I have the instructions and the slideshows for all of the projects in the turn-in as well. So it's in one place if you needed to, if you just want to go look at one place for what the requirements are. For today, the identity collage, I also have on a page here, as you can see. And that will, I also have two attachments. The top one, oops, sorry. Oh my gosh, seriously, Schoology. The top one is the turn in that you already should have downloaded, like the graphic organizer. This second one is an identity collage brainstorming PDF. If you would please put that in right now to Notability so everybody has it. It's just like if you look on here, that's what it just looks like this. It's just like a questionnaire. So if everybody would put that in Notability. It's just going to help you brainstorm, basically, because a lot of you are going to need a little, I mean, I would need it if I were doing this. It is not something you're going to turn in, just so you know, so you're not like, oh my God, I don't want to answer all these questions. It's to get you to start thinking about what you're going to focus on with your collage. So I just want you to put that in Notability, and then if you'll flip your iPad and then draw your attention back to the screen so I can show you kind of where we're going with this. If you started to see the theme for this week's 3 projects, it's pretty much all about you. And it's all about what's going on in your world. It's all about your likes, your dislikes, a theme that's based on you. This particular project is all about you and your identity, like you as an individual. Here's an example of an identity collage on the front. And it's all about who am I? That's like literally the theme of this collage is who am I as an individual? If I go here, sorry, my computer is, there we go. So I'll just read this fast to you because there's a true definition of identity, and it is the way we perceive and express ourselves. And the expression piece is what's really important. Factors and conditions that an individual is born with. So such as ethnic heritage, gender, or one's body, like often play a role in defining one's identity. However, many aspects of a person's identity change throughout his or her life. People's experiences can alter how they see themselves or perceive or be perceived by others. And conversely, their identities also influence the decisions they make. So individuals choose their friends, adopt certain fashions, and align yourself with like political beliefs based on your identity. Many artists use their work to express, explore, and question ideas about identity. And that's the big one too, is like questioning things about it, because it's very interesting how you'll notice that your identity will shift and change many, many, many times throughout your life. This is the sheet I had you download to Notability. And it's going to have questions on it like, list your favorite TV shows or movies. Name like 1 to 3 of your favorite songs, bands, or artists. What are your hobbies? So they're questions just like, think about who's important in your life. If you have any pets, like it's all about you. So that is a sheet to start kind of brainstorming and thinking. I'm going to play this. It's an award-winning short. It's called Identity, and it was done by a student. It was made years ago, and it's one of my favorite ones to kind of show this, like where you might be feeling with identity. So if everybody would pay attention, I'm going to mute myself and play this.
Today, I found the truth.
If you want movies,
Good morning, class. In today's lesson, we will be speaking about Plato's allegory of the cave. In Plato's allegory, he talks about human beings living in a cave. All their life, from their childhood, they've been chained up in such a way that they cannot move their bodies, and all they can see in front of them is a dark wall. Because they have never been outside of this cave, all they know about life is this dark wall. However, one day, a slave is released, and he discovers a whole new world outside of the cave. And because he is now the enlightened one, his job is to come and free those that are still trapped in the cave.
Look, think about it like this. The front row consists of kings, bishops, queens, pretty much the people in charge of the country. The second row is made up of pawns. The pawns are the least important and are pretty much what the leaders use to protect and benefit themselves. They're meant to be used for your own advantage.
Don't forget your red mask. Put it on. And now I pass you on to Carla with the segment on the terrors of everything else.
it's a red car.
Today, the truth found me.
So that's one of my favorites to show when dealing with identity. There was quite a few things in that film. I'm not sure if you picked up on them. I feel like I'm kind of glitchy. Hopefully you guys can understand me. Let me go through here real fast. So if you noticed, like groups or cliques of students had different colors of masks. There was even at one point a young girl walked up to another group of kids and took off her mask, and then she had a different color underneath to match that group. So it was, in my opinion, it's very interesting of like how we kind of morph and try to fit in. And this girl at the end was kind of like, nope, I'm done. I am who I am, and it doesn't matter what color my mask is. Like if you notice, there was like even like a poster that was like, this is what beautiful looks like, and it was the yellow mask. So it's kind of just really showing you like to figure out who you are. Like everyone should be different and an individual instead of like all groups the same. So hopefully that was something that like picked up on or you saw when you watched that. What we're going to be doing based on that and identity is we are going to be creating a collage, which if you see up here, it is a French word for coller, which is to glue. And it's a work of art in the visual arts made from different forms, creating a whole new. So what that means is like taking found objects, mostly magazines, newspapers, colored paper. We'll be using magazines to create a work of art using that found object. Romare Bearden is a African American artist who did almost all of his work was collage work, and he created collages around the identities of his community and the identities of what the African American communities were going through, and in like the 1940s. And he was a jazz musician. He actually was drafted to play in the NBA, like for Major League Baseball, and he turned it down and didn't play baseball anymore and continued on with his art career. And I do have a biography. I'll show you that later about him. He's a phenomenal artist. But you can see here how he used found objects to create his works of art. So we're going to be working in his style. Mark Paper Scissors is another really crazy collage artist. His style is using only colored paper and cutting and creating all of his works of art from scratch. So he creates all of his creatures and aliens and buildings and cities just from scraps of paper. I also have a really cool thing to show you on him later on as well. It's really crazy. He like turned it into a music video, and but his cuttings are just unreal. So here's an example of an identity collage and the direction that we're going. And here are your must-haves for your project. Okay, so I like to say something like an interesting collage focusing on colors and textures. We are not like going through a magazine and cutting out like just Nike shoes and like our favorite people and gluing them down. We're creating a work of art around this. A lot of people create vision boards using collage and that sort of thing. We're pushing this past that. We're going into like the visual art aspect of this. So you need to fill up your paper. How you choose to do that is up to you. A lot of people, I'll show you a bunch of examples, but you want to really focus on colors and textures. Like this particular person, as they're starting, notice there isn't any like just cutting out of pictures, if that makes sense. So you're going to focus on colors and textures. Focus on how you want it to look. Do you want it to have a style? Do you want it to be free-flowing? Are you going to rip pages and glue stuff down? Are you going to cut? Like, what are you going to do? You need at least either 10 words or a phrase that is wrapped around your identity. That's one of the reasons why I have you download that kind of worksheet per se, to start kind of coming up with these describing words about yourself. And it does need to be positive. Like, I don't want to see people writing things like lazy or stupid. Like, that's not what we're focusing on, and none of y'all are that way. We're focusing on like the positive aspects of who we are. Think about your placement. Like, how are you going to put this together? Most artists, when they collage, they do not start gluing until they have most of their pieces cut. Okay, they like to be able to, it's kind of like a puzzle. They want to be able to lay it out. You also build it. It's a building process. So you start from the background up. So you'll always glue your background stuff first into your foreground. Okay. Think about how it's all going to come together. So here are some examples. Again, phrases, words, they should stand out. How are you going to spell them? What are you going to use? Are you going to find full words? Are you going to spell them with letters? They're in your pocket of your sketchbook is a great place to keep your stuff. You also could take an extra sheet of sketch paper at the front of the room and like fold it and kind of create an envelope to keep your pieces in so you don't lose your stuff. Here are some other examples. These are past students' work. You can see like the focusing on all these crazy colors and textures. This particular person is talking about the things they love. They have the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which makes me super happy. It doesn't mean you can't cut out pictures. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is like you want to really work on like, how are you going to have this stand out? And again, we're in the art world, not like I'm making a vision board hanging out with my friends. If that makes sense. There's like a difference. We want to push this into that like really creative space. Is this making sense to everybody of what you need to do? Everyone should stand out from each other's. I love this one and how they created the sun. So it almost looks like sky behind it and then the sun, and then they put all their words in the rays. You have lots of options. And again, this is not due until the end of class Monday, and you have the whole class period on Monday to work because you have a sub. So you have this to do on Monday as well. Who has questions? Does anyone have any questions? There are a ton of magazines, or there should be, I believe, on that back wall by the back door. Okay, good. And there's scissors and glue sticks on the front counter. If you need, even if you're looking at a magazine, just rip out pages that you need. Also, of course, I have to do my whole, I'm not in charge of magazines and there might be stuff in them that aren't school appropriate. So please just be mature 8th graders and be like, yep, I'm just going to bypass this page. Don't make Miss Star's life miserable. Does anyone have any questions or need any more guidance on this? Is everybody cool? Okay, you guys can get started.